Okay, in this video, we're going to pick up from where we left. So in the last video, as you can see, we finished up setting. In the last video, we set up the Dijkstra site, as you can see. And so if you didn't watch the last video, we did the front end part. We only did the setup. And on this video, we want to now set up the backend. So the backend will be built on Spring Boot, but you can use any backend that you want. All okay. This is how you can look at it. Maybe you're doing a different. Maybe you're doing your front end on maybe Vue or Angular, and you just want the Spring Boot backend. This video is for you. If you're doing your front end on React and you're using a different backend other than Spring Boot, then this video is not for you, so you can skip and just use your own backend. But in this one, we aim to now host the backend side, and now we want to have the full stack project being linking this front end that we have to the backend that we're going to create right now. And so without further ado, I'm going to go to new tab. We will go to Spring Initializer, that is start.spring.io. I want to create a new project, so it's going to be, the language will be Java, and the project will be built by Maven. And it's the snapshot. I'm going to just stick to this snapshot, and let's name it Dijkstra. Dijkstra backend. Okay, let's avoid the naming conflicts. Let's say com dot. Let's call it project. Com dot project dot Dijkstra. Dijkstra website. So this will be the backend. I want the name to be almost similar to the front end. Yeah, and on the packaging, we're going to use jar. That is okay. Java, I'm going to use version 17. I love 17. It's more stable. I've tried out version 21. I've not tried out 24. Version 21 does not work well with Docker, and in this video I aim to host it using Docker so that it can containerize our application. So let's just add some few dependencies. Let's add web because we want it to work on the web. Mhm. Um, the front end is done in React, so I don't think we're going to need Timeleaf. So you can use Timeleaf if you want to add some HTML to allow HTML to be displayed there. You can add Timeleaf, doesn't matter. But you're not going to need it in this video, but you can add it if you want. I'm also going to use GraphQL. Apart from REST, I also want to use GraphQL to take things from the front end to the back end. It's a good to try it also, but also I'm going to use REST, especially on the authentication side. We're going to use the REST APIs, so it's, you can just have it, but it's not really necessary. On the database we're going to use, I want to have maybe, if you're using MySQL, it has no problem, works well with Postgre. It works the same as Postgre, so I want to use Postgres. I want to be biased on the Postgre side, and yeah. And I'm also going to use MongoDB because I want to add some transactions here. I want it to be fun. In terms of security, we will use Spring Security in the side of security, but let me not add all the dependencies right now. This will be the one for connecting to the database. We will be using JPA, and where is it? Where is it? And the driver for MySQL or Postgre. depending on which one you use. But for now, let's just have Spring Web. Let's just make it work online. Um, we're going to use Thymeleaf for this video because I want to have a documentation page. So let me just give you a gist of what we expect at the end. I expect to make such an init. So this is the one that I've already hosted on Render. We're going to host on Render, the backend. So you remember the front end, we have it on Netlify. So the backend should be on Render, and as you can see, it's loading the application. But as soon as it's done, I will show you the gist of what we expect at the end. So dependencies. Web, Thymeleaf, GraphQL. Yeah, that is enough for now. For this project, that is enough. Let's generate. So yeah, it's done generating. We can just let me open it. Okay, let me right click. Let me extract. Where is the extract? Can extract all, and we're going to extract it, and let me browse. I want to use IntelliJ for this project, but you can use any other IDE that you want that is on you. And let's see. I don't know if IntelliJ projects are put here. I am not sure. It is not there. Where do we normally? Is it on users? Yeah, it's on users. Category and idea project. These are the ones that I have right now. Let me select folder. So this is where we're going to put it. Extract. Nice. Now, as you can see, the Dijkstra website is there, and yeah, we can open it on IntelliJ. Also, may open IntelliJ. Okay, should take some time as it is opening up. Let me show you the. Where is my? Yeah. So yeah, it's done loading. So this is what I aim to have. So on the back end, this is one that I've hosted on Render. It's in Render, and on the backend you're going to see is an overview. Here are the APIs that we are linked to that application. We have everything, and so I'll have one page, a HTML page, but on the backend side that it's going to document all the APIs that we have, so that anyone else wants to use these APIs, they can just come here and do a quick check it, and then connect it to their front end. So if you're not using Spring Boot, if you're not using React, sorry, you want to use maybe a different mini front end, and or maybe on Android, so you can just come and check and say, okay, there's this login post. Of course, I will improve this page, and I'm going to also show the output that you should expect when you query from this site. So this is what we are aiming to set up. So very quickly, now IntelliJ is open. Let me just close this project. Close project. Okay, closing. Okay. So and new. So if you don't want to go the Spring Initializer way, you can also create a project this way. So you can just come here, say new project, then you choose Spring Boot. As you can see, you give it a name, you choose Maven, same steps that we did here. Choose Maven, give it a group name, give it an artifact name, Java 17 or whichever you want. It's on you, jar. Then click on next. Then you add the dependencies. We did not add Lombok. Okay, we did not add Lombok. And okay, so add dependencies. Lombok. It's very important. I love it because of it reduces the amount of code I have to write, the boilerplate code. So you can come up here and add it again, then do a regeneration. Although for this project, we are not going to need it exactly. Or maybe let me just remove it, then I'll show you how we can fix that problem on the other side. So next, what's next? So you can add Lombok, you can do Spring Web. You just go and click anything that you want. You can use HTMX if you wish. It's all on you. So then you click on create. So it's going to create the project for you. So let's use the Spring initializer with now that we already did that. So we can decide we're not creating a new project, we're going to open the project that we just created. And going back to users, where did we have it? It was on idea projects. So where, let me search for idea projects, Dijkstra website. Then I select the folder, and so it's going to open the project. Yeah, so as you can see, it's going to tell me to load the project, and yeah, it's building. So I can exclude the folder from the Microsoft Defender. Yes, after I'm done with that, it's going to be reading. So quickly, two things that I want to add up. I want to host this app on render. So let me just go to a different. So here's the render dashboard. You can just go and search render.com. So it's going to take you there. You can just get started for free, and you can register to it. And yeah, that is the process. And if you don't have an account, you can create one. I already have one, so I'm just going to create it any way that you want. Of course, you're going to need to put your payment details there, but for me, I'm using the free tier. So although yes, I signed up with my credit card, I'm not being billed. So when you see that, you just give your credit card details, but you're not going to be billed unless you are going for an online version. So when you can see that I am already in because I have one. Oh, and I have a PostgreSQL. I have a database here. I'm hosting my Postgre database here. And so let me just attempt to create a new one. Or maybe let me not use. So let me use a different. I don't know if I have it on all my accounts. Let me use this other account. So yeah, I also have render on this other account. So let's go in. So how are we going to host this project on render? We're going to need Docker. We're going to need to containerize our project. So let me just right click, create a new file. We call it capital D, Docker file. Docker, that is CKRFILE. That is our Docker file. So we're going to use a multi-stage build for the Docker image. So we are aiming to put this up online. First things first. Let me go to main. I want to just run the project so that you guys can see what to expect. So I'm running this project. It's called a sanity check. We just want to see if we are sane in what we are doing. It's taking too much time to log. So as it is parsing, yeah, it's great. It has created the target and just wanted to run it and see that the app works. As that is happening, let's go to sign in to with GitHub because I already have an account. My username is Dev. Let me just sign in. No thanks. And as it is working, as it is signing me in, the app itself is already online. Yeah, no, not really online. The app is running. So let's do a quick let me just create a single endpoint and resources. So in the application.properties, we're going to rename it to rename to application.yaml. I'm using YAML because YAML is it's easier to write, so it means that I'll change the syntax of this configuration file into a YAML format, and so most configurations are written in YAML, so it will be better for you if you're using that. So I am now this is the format for YAML. So what you should normally do is every you should always set up the port for the application. By now, as at now, it's running on the default port and it's running on port 8080. So that's the default port if you don't configure the port. So let me just configure the port, say server dot port. So port should be 8080. And I don't know why I love putting this as the first configuration there. Now, second thing, let's set up a new HTML file. Let me call it index.html. Nice. And so we're going to say our API documentation. API documentation. So we're going to put all the documentations there. And let me just say H1. I assume that you know HTML by now. Let me just have one header saying here are the docs. And so second thing we're going to do is we're going to back to the main Java com.project Dijkstra website, new Java class. I'm going to name it page. Let's call it page controller. So why did I make that end point? I want to have a controller class, controller. So and what the controller basically does is it's going to route all APIs for the front end pages. So I have an index.html. If I need to see this page, I'm going to need the page controller to show me. So maybe I can just make a route for it. I can do a request mapping, and then I can map the requests that go to /API /v1. So that is version 1. This is just a convention for writing APIs /v1 /pages. And then I can get that page. So at get mapping, so I want to map all slash home page. So okay, now I see a problem. The problem is that I want to have this HTML page to run on the main. When immediately the uploads, I want to load that HTML file. So instead of doing all this, let me just write route the root URL. So let's just get rid of all this. It's not necessary as at now. And public string index. So it's going to return this index. So this name is the name of the HTML page you put. If I say index, I mean this HTML page that is in the templates. And so what I'm saying is that when you're going to the root URL, you'll be served with the index page. And if if you if you by mistake say rest controller, if by any mistake you say rest controller, then let me just refresh the let me restart the application. If by any chance you say rest controller, it will not serve the HTML, the index.html page. It will just serve the word, it will return the word index. So let me, as it is building, let's go. Let's give it some time. Let's give it some time. So it's done running, and the context path is slash. So let me go back to localhost 88. Oh shit, what is going on? Let's see. I didn't want to go online. I want to go to localhost. So as you can see, it's returning the word index. It's not returning the page. So the thing you have to fix is to say that it's not rest controller, it's controller. So let me just build the website. Yeah, it's saving the cache and it's running over again. Yeah. So let me just close as it is doing its thing. It's done. So if I go back and refresh the page, now you see it's now serving the HTML page that we wanted. Yeah, and now this is okay. We now need to push this thing from localhost to online. So what are we going to do? I'm going to go to the Docker file, and I want to write a file. So that I'm going to use Docker to build. So I want to build a container for this project. So so what I'm going to do is I'm going to need a base image. So let me say from. So if you don't know Docker, maybe you can look it up. I'm assuming that maybe you might have done some Docker basics, but if not, I'll make it still easy to follow. So I'm going to need a base image. So that is from Maven. We're going to build from Maven. I'm going to use version 3.8 slash OpenJDK 17. Let's is the OpenJDK 17. We have 17. Oh, these ones are not open. OpenJDK. OpenJDK 17. So yeah. So we're going to build that, and we're going to set this phase as builder. As builder. I'm going to name this phase as builder. And so I'm going to also set a working directory. Let's do a slash app. So next thing I'm going to copy, since it's a multi-stage configuration, I'm going to copy this pom.xml. So pom.xml has all our dependencies, and I want to copy all these dependencies. I want to copy to the new image that is being built in Docker. So I'm going to do a pom.xml. I'm going to copy that. I'm copying it to the root directory of this image, the app directory, the image, the root directory. Now, this is how you can picture it. Now, the root directory, for example, this is the root directory of our application. Now, assuming that we are creating a new folder right here, assuming we're creating a new folder, then the new folder, we are not giving it, we're going to give it, we're setting up a directory in the folder called app. And then in that folder, we want to copy this pom.xml, we want to copy it to the new folder. So that is what we are doing. So we copied that pom.xml to dot. Dot means the root directory of that folder. Then we're also going to copy all the code. So all the code is in the source folder. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy the src. We're going to copy it to dot slash src. So you can you can think of it as you're basically writing, we're basically creating a new folder, and we want it to look the same as this application. The only difference is that we want to have, we don't care about this one, we don't care about .mvn, we don't care about .ida, we don't care about all of this. We only care about the dependencies and the folder which has the source code. These are the only things we are going to care about. So I'm copying it, I'm copying pom.xml to the root, and I'm also copying this src, this folder, the source code, to a new one that I'm going to name dot, and I'm going to name src. I think I've done justice for that explanation. Then I'm going to tell it to run mvn. So mvn clean package. So mvn clean package, what does is it's going to build our final image. So if when you go to the terminal, it's like the same way we did an npm run build for our node application. So we're going to build an executable of our website. So when you go and do although I don't have Maven installed in my project, but if you do an mvn clean package, what it does, I don't have mvn here, but what mvn clean package does is it cleans the package and then rebuilds it, and builds it back to what then, as in cleans the package, it means it's going to remove the target, this target folder, and then it's going to repackage the app, and then I'm going to tell it to skip the tests. So because I don't need the tests for now, the skip tests, and so we will be done with the building. So let's do it. Let me give you another configuration for now running the application. So I'm going to tell it now from OpenJDK, OpenJDK, that is from OpenJDK version 17, because we're using Java 17, JDK Slim, JDK Slim. I'm going to now set up the working directory again. So we're basically doing whatever we did here, but now on the running the application now. So we're going to tell it how we told it how it's going to build the application. Now the next thing we need to tell it how to run the application now that you've built it. Now what we're going to do is mhm, I am going to tell it that the work directory is now slash up. Next, we're going to tell it to now copy. We're going to tell it to copy now from here. This is where we built it. So I'm going to tell it now to copy from from give it the name builder. From builder, we're going to copy the we're going to tell it to go to slash. Now it has the its working directory is slash up, so we're going to tell it to copy it from slash up slash target. So it's going to, so you're assuming that the main directory is slash up. Now you're telling it to go to slash target and find the build application there, because when you build a Spring Boot project, it goes to this folder. So target slash, we're going to give it the name for our application. When this application is done building, it's going to have the same name that the project has, which is Dijkstra website uh, then slash, give it the version, which the main version is always 0.0.1, and call it snapshot. So this is how it names the main project, but you can go and rename it. Does not have a problem with that. You can rename it to whatever you want, but this is always the first name. It's always the project name. When it builds an app, it's always the project name, then it's the version, and then it's it prefixes it with a snapshot.jar. It's a .jar with a small, so jar, and then it's going, we want to copy it to app.jar. So yeah, that will be done. Then now, where does it get this number? This number is always gotten from the configuration file here, version 0.0.1 snapshot. So when you go to that version and you find it, that is the version that will be given to that here. So yeah, that is done. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to expose the port, which is 8080. So I'll need to expose that port for the application to run on it. Then I'm going to set an entry point. So the entry point should be basically you use an array for that, and you're going to tell it to do java jar oh, that is jar. So this is how you run a jar application. If you guys remember, then app.jar, this is the name that we gave it here. So java jar app.jar is how you create a jar package. It's how you package a jar application. As you can remember, we used jar here. So that is done. Now we're done building the application, and as you can also see, now the application is online in our host. It's not really online, it's in the local host. You can find it. It runs well. We've also done the Docker part. We've built it, and everything still works okay. Let me just stop the application now. this is what it's going to use to build it online. So let's just host the application now. So going to hosting, I am going to render. Now this is the project that I have currently. I am going to discard it. Let me just delete the project. This is my portfolio website. I'm going to delete it. How do you delete? Settings. Is whatever site I had. I can just delete the static site. So just copy this command here. Let's see, paste, then delete this static site. It will take some time, and it's gone. So if you don't have any project, this is what you always start with, and you can say create a new service. And so when when it's a static site, maybe a front end, you use this. You go here when you're going for database, because with time we're also going to host a database. We're going to need a database for our site. So this is where you go when you want to set up the database. And when it's a web service, for example, a backend, this one is dynamic for dynamic web apps. It's ideal for full stack apps, API servers, and mobile backends. So it's good for backend work. So let me just deploy the new web service. And so now this is the only project that is in my GitHub. So this is the Git provider. I don't have any other project. So let me push our project here on Git to GitHub. So how are we going to do that? We're going to go to GitHub. This is the only project that I have. So let's go to new. Let's go to repositories, create new. Then I'm going to call it Dijkstra. What did we call it? Website description. This is the backend for the Dijkstra web app, and this is completely optional. You don't have to do this part. The backend for the Dijkstra web app, or let's just say website. And the backend of the Dijkstra website is going to be public, so you can clone this project as you wish. Then yeah, let's create the repository. Yeah, that's our empty repository. So let me just copy all that code. Let's do a paste. So the commands are well pasted here. Then I can just enter to push. Username is my dev. It's the username for my GitHub. Password, we're going to do what we did last time. We're going to settings, and yeah, let me just go to the developer settings. Let me add a classic token, and generate new classic token, and I'm going to give it 7 days, and I'm going to just call it test, and then I'm going to click all of this. Give it permissions to everything. These are the scopes, not permissions, really scopes. So you can give it like a global scope, allow it to access everything in your project. Yeah, it doesn't matter that now. So right, discussion, admin, everything. Give it everything. Audit, code space. My clicker is not working. Copilot, project. Give it I am very bad at aiming. I can't aim clicks. Now, generate token. Yes, is oh shit, I almost deleted. Copy. So that's what we're going to use. So paste and yeah. So when you go and refresh, let me just take you back to you go back to your website and refresh. I want to remind you guys that that does not actually push everything. The initial commands only push the readme. So you should always remember to do a git. You add everything to it, and then git commit. Then give it some commit message. Say uh, this project. Then you do, so you can see everything has been staged. Then you do a git push. Then the username is still Madego dev. The password is the one that we copied from there, so I'm going to just paste it and I push, and then it's everything has been written online, or not online, on GitHub. So when I do a refresh, yeah, is the project, and as you can see, everything is there, especially the Docker file. This is what we care so much about, because this Docker file is what is going to be built on the render side. So this is on localhost. Now we want to put this online. So let me just go back to the web service and let me do a refresh. Let me do a refresh because I want it to appear. I want it to, yeah, now it's saying seconds ago. Now this is where everything doesn't work. So the setup, here's the setup. The name for the web server is the Dijkstra website. Okay, yeah, website. Let me just add one more thing, say maybe backend or server or anything. Yeah, or let's just call it by Dijkstra server because I hate long names. Dijkstra server. So the front end, our front end had yeah, here it is. Okay, we named it Dijkstra site. So it's server. So next, the language is Docker. The branch will be the main branch. Everything is okay. For the instance type, we don't have money, so we're going to go for the free instance. Environment variables, we don't really have. We have nothing, so everything is okay. I'm just going to deploy. I don't think there's any other thing I want to add. So if, if all goes well, if all goes well, it's going to build. So it's building from Docker, and as you can see, it's copying all the images that we need. It's going through every stage. So let me just run you through what is currently happening. So here is the project. Here's the project, and so it's supposed to go through all these steps. So let me just minimize this. So I don't even know which step we are at. So let me just do like a quick read to also understand where we are exactly. So it's downloading all the things, that all the dependencies that we need. So yeah, that is what I'm reading from. Yeah, okay, yeah, okay, it failed to calculate checksum. Okay. Target snapshot to jar. So where's the problem? stage 1, 3 it's supposed to copy from builder this to that. So oh, this is what failed. So I must have built the wrong okay. So where did I go wrong? This line must have been wrong. I want to let me just look for any spelling mistake that I did. Okay. Oh, I did this mistake. Dijkstra. I didn't put the T in Dijkstra. So Dijkstra. So we're going to have to sacrifice the T. And yeah, let's repush that thing. So I do a git add that. So you should always be very accurate with the naming. Extra then git commit mhm, fix. Give it a message. So fixed spelling mistake. And then fixed spelling mistake. Then I do a push git push. So then I give it the username Madegua dev, then the password. Still had it on my clipboard. Then yeah, now that it's pushed, let me just cancel this deploy. Don't need it. Okay, this is the. Let's go back to events. Okay, let's go back to production. Then let's look at the new deploy. Hopefully I have the spelling done right. Hopefully. Okay. How could I miss the T? Dijkstra, Dijkstra. Very weird name. And yeah, let's hope. Okay, it's done with the stage 1, stage 3, done. Now pushing image to registry. Now the stages are done right now. So it's succeeded uploading. Now it's deploying. And yeah, within no time, let me just copy this URL. Okay, let me just copy that URL. And so here was our backend. We're going to have another control paste. I paste the front end URL, and hopefully the site is still loading. So hopefully with time it's going to so here it's running. It's now running online. Guys, our server is almost up and running, and we are now full stack developers. Yeah, now it's running. The application is still loading. Yeah, everything is okay. No opened ports detected, so it's going to continue to scan. And yeah, I believe we are okay. If I do a refresh, yeah, still loading. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's go back to production. Go back to production. So it's still deploying. It's taking 2 years to deploy. And yeah, I don't know why should take that long to deploy, by the way. So this is the nature of backend. Oh, it restarted. Why? Okay. Started the active profiles. Server restarted for some reason. Don't understand why. Yeah, it's adding the welcome page template. Ah, started on port 8080. As you can see, your service is live. Nice. Yeah, the docs. Guys, we are online. See you in the next video. Now, next video, I believe we're now going to start doing the routing.